Easy now. Papa got things making hands
come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. I'ma have to cut you off, like right now. You see, I don't want to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they ain't finished change. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip. Yeah, you
Welcome to Seahawks Man-to-Man podcast, powered by The Athletic. Shout out to the company. My name is Michael-Shawn and I'm here with my co-host, Christopher Kidd. Make sure you follow us both up on the tweet machine. You guys know where to follow me on there, so I will continue to plug the YouTube channel. That is Seahawks Man-to-Man. That's the number 2 man on YouTube. Shout out to everybody who's been subscribing on there. We appreciate the love. Chris, talk to him.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Christopher Kidd. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at CKIDD206. And that's CKid206. And by the way, shout out to all you guys because now we just reached 2,000 subscribers. So let's get to 3,000 by mid-season. Let's see if we can get to 3,000 by week 8, week 9. Appreciate all the love. Again, hit that subscribe button down below. Seahawks Man-to-Man with the number 2. Well, I just threw up like 3 fingers. Number 2, MAN. Check us out.
All right. That's good. I know we had 2,000. That's amazing. That is amazing, man. Shout out to all the love, man. That might even be enough, Chris, to get that live podcast thing going.
Absolutely. Stay tuned.
About that. Yeah, man. Actually, if you guys was tweet us, hit the YouTube comments right now, whatever. Respond to us on Instagram, Twitter. Let us know if you guys would be interested in a live Seahawks Man-to-Man podcast. I want to put some feelers out there, see how you guys would feel about that. But for now, we are coming to you right after the Seahawks played the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is our first recap podcast of 2022. Yeah, recapping a preseason game. We're right back at it. Seahawks lost, but that doesn't really matter. There were really only 2 things I cared about a ton in this game, assuming that the starters didn't play, and they did not. Kudos to Pete Carroll and his staff on that. Chris and I have been big proponents of sitting your studs in the preseason, and they did that. DK didn't play. Tyler didn't play. I don't think Will Dissly played. Didn't see right guard Gabe Jackson. Didn't see he probably should have played if he was healthy, but didn't see Freddie Swain, Marquise Goodwin, D. Eskridge, who needs to play. Who else didn't play? Who didn't play on defense? Jordan Brooks,
Jamal,
Andre, Alwood.
They're banged up, but I was going to say Artie Burns and
yeah, Artie and Sydney probably should have played if they were healthy. But then Al Woods. So they were down a lot on both sides of the ball. And before we get into the quarterbacks, we will start with Geno since he started. You got to preface everything with that. Like they did not get, and then Rashad Penny didn't play either. So with you on offense, you're missing DK, Tyler, Marquise, D, and I think I think that's it. I don't know if Cody Thompson played either, but either way, that's like your top 4 receivers right there. And then you throw in Will Dissly. So like half the dudes who caught a pass on Saturday, actually more than half, are probably going to do a bunch of nothing in the regular season if they're even on the team. So you got to keep that in mind as well. That said, let's start with the quarterback battle. I'm going to reinforce an opinion I had on the last pod. I think it's a quarterback competition, even if Drew runs with the 2s. I do think that. It's not a fair quarterback competition, but not all competitions are fair. I think it's fine if you just say, hey, Drew, this guy started 3 games with us last year. You're the new guy. You got to run with the 2s. If you want the job, take it from Geno. Cool. I think that's a fine way of doing it to me. A point that I made I think I was on the radio with Softy and KJR. I think one of these days during the week, I think it was Friday. I said the only thing that I want to be fair is the reps that each quarterback gets with DK and Tyler. I would like those to be even. I don't care who's snapping you the ball. I don't really care about any of that. I need you to throw to DK and Tyler about an equal amount. We chart those reps, and then that's how we help decide. Like if Drew just has a million throws to Cody Thompson and Colby Parkinson, that's fine. It's not like bad. But if Geno has a bunch to Noah Fant, DK, and Tyler, then that's what I would want to be fair. The 1s versus 2s thing, don't really care. Throws to DK and Tyler, that's where I care, because as much as we talk about receiver 3 and receiver 4 and who makes the roster with receiver 5, receiver 6 spot, and some of these other like fringe positions. What matters for this team is who can get the ball to DK and Tyler. That's really what, for real, that's what matters. Who can get those guys the rock after they start pounding it, throwing over defense head, yada, yada, yada. So can Geno get those guys the ball? Yes, we've already seen that, which is probably why he's in the lead right now. And on Saturday, I thought, boy, Geno is on his way to losing this competition about 2 or 3 drives in. And the reason I think that is for the first time, I would say actually watching him in a game with the Seahawks, he just didn't look very comfortable. I was looking at like the first 3rd and 6 that he had, and the pocket's clean. He's sitting there. Charles Cross is holding up on the other end. Who else? Who was starting? I think Jake Curran was in on the right side. Pocket's clean. There's not really any issue coming up the middle. The edges are cool, and then he's just there. And then he dances, and then he ends up taking a sack. And even I rewatched the game this morning. Even the play before that, it's a play action, and I don't know if it's play action. He just ends up rolling out of the pocket, hitting Noah Fant for like 15, 16 yards. But if you look at that, he bails on a clean pocket there too. And I was like, oh man, like Geno in the games that he played last year in the regular season, I thought if nothing else, he looked comfy standing there, trusting the guys there. Maybe it was that because he trusted, like knowing it was Dwayne Brown and Brandon Shell or whoever else that he had there. I'm not really sure. But I do know when I was watching last year, I'm like, oh, Geno looks cool. Like even watch the Rams game. Like he stands in there, boom, okay. I trust my guys to hold up against the best D-line in the league. On Saturday, I was just like, oh man, he looks like he's feeling a rush that is not there. That happened a few times. Even the one of the scrambles that he had for a first down was like, there was a good scramble. It was also like, nah, man, that the pocket didn't collapse as soon as you anticipated it. Like the throws be damned. I thought both of those guys threw the ball fine. I think Drew put the ball in harm's way just one more time than Geno did. But I thought Geno for the first, I don't know, everything up to that 2-minute drill just didn't look very comfy. Still was able to make throws, but in terms of just sitting there and picking apart, the Steelers defense that was missing guys like T.J. Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, I thought, man, this isn't a guy looking like a 10-year vet. Like he was fine, but yeah, I expected it to look a little sharper, even though he didn't have his number one weapons.
No, I hear that 100%. I'm interested to see the all-22 because when you're in the pocket and you're seeing no receivers open, you have a decision to make. Do you try to scramble for a first? Do you throw it away? Probably not throw it away because you don't want to just waste it down there. But if there's no pressure in the pocket, he's hoping that something happens, and nothing happened. Receivers obviously, apparently weren't open, and he didn't like what he was seeing. So getting that all-22 is going to definitely I'm definitely going to have a different mindset possibly once I see what was going on and what he was seeing. But to your point, just being in the pocket and not having any pressure and then maybe feeling like there is pressure, and that is somewhat concerning. But I think maybe it was first game jitters. This is Geno's first time in quite some time where he has an opportunity to be a starter. And he didn't have all his guys out there, but you would still want him to at least be comfortable with what he has right now on the field and on Saturday. And that didn't look, for the most part, didn't look comfortable. And again, first 2 drives, not great. But the 3rd drive, they were able to move the ball. Unfortunately, they weren't able to capitalize with the touchdown. They ended up settling for 3. But I think for the most part, that kickstarted it, because not too long after that, right before the 2-minute or for the first half ends, Geno goes down and leads them on a touchdown to make it 17-10. And he had control of the offense. I mean, the first pass play was an easy check down. They ended up going for like 20-something yards. So I think it was Bo Melton. So that was definitely a Kickstarter, and Geno just really took command of the offense and, again, got them points. He rolled out to the right. I think it was an RPO, looking for the tight end that was covered up, and then he was able to just run it in, and it worked out. And Geno really – he started off slow, but he finished strong, which is what we have down as our headline there, and that was good to see. I know a lot of people are wanting Drew to start regardless, but Geno definitely held his own and reminded everyone that, hey, I'm still fighting for this job to be a starter for the Seahawks come week 1 against the Broncos. And I think he kept the lead on his performance on Saturday. Although he didn't start probably the way he wanted to, I think he finished it strong in that 2-minute warning drive, or that 2-minute warning, that 2-minute drive, 2-minute drill. He definitely was like, okay, I got this. And he showed that for sure.
So that's actually interesting. I really do feel like maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just my story comments or maybe people on social media to me. I just feel like it's a heavy Drew Lock like contingent in Seattle right now. It feels like they just
Yeah.
want to see Drew.
Someone matter of fact, I can read you a tweet. Go ahead, keep talking. I'll find it.
I see some of the logic on it because it's like, all right, we it's like, Mike, we know what Geno is, right? We don't know what Drew, could be. Someone told me it was like with Drew, we're either a playoff team or like a bottom 5 team in the league. So with Geno, we know we're probably somewhere in the middle, which I don't want to be in. And I was like, I don't think you're a playoff team with either guy, but I got the point there. The point was that Drew gives the higher ceiling. Drew also presents the lower floor. Geno is the safer bet in the middle, which I actually do probably agree with that. I think the floor is certainly lower. Honestly, look at this game in particular. The floor with Drew was turning the ball over, right? Like
Yeah.
that was it. Like
And
that
what do
was
you do?
that essentially cost the game right there. Boye
Yeah.
got them the ball back with about 1:17 left in the opponent territory in a tie game. All they need to do is go, one first down, maybe 2 first downs, get you in field goal range.
The
Game's
20
over.
yards, yeah.
Yeah, they were on the 47. So yeah, get to about, I don't know what the weather was like out there because I was at home, but I don't know, get about 15 yards and the game is probably over, with a successful field goal. Instead, you give the other team the ball and they go down, and score, another game's over. That's costing your team the game. It reminds me of what I was talking to somebody who's like kind of high up with the Seahawks. I was telling them, I was like, they were asking me what I think about the quarterbacks. And I was telling them that both guys are probably about the same. I said the difference is with neither guy has proven to be the reason that their team wins games, right? I think both of them would kind of agree with that assessment over their careers. Like their win-loss records kind of show that and some of their numbers as well. I said the difference is, and why I would probably lean towards Geno if I'm trying to protect my job as like a coach or whatever, or make my guys feel like we can go win this thing, is that with Drew has definitely proven to be on more occasions than Geno, at least, the reason his team loses a game. Like Drew just led the league in interceptions like 2 years ago. That's not even that long ago, so that is the difference to me. And I thought this game was kind of an example of that. Geno did nothing terrible. Geno did nothing spectacular. His team was down 7 by the end of the half. Probably would have had a chance to, come back and just stay in it. Stay. That's what all the games Geno played in. They were just stayed in it, right? Except for the Jags, he smoked them. Yeah. Whereas with Drew, it was like, oh, we might have a chance to go win this thing. Like he's marching us up and down the field. But then when it's winning time, you don't read the blitz right, get smoked, and then we end up losing. Right? So I thought this was actually a good example of the difference between the two. We can get into some of the throws and stuff, but like in general, I was just like, man, I can see why a coach would be like, Geno's not gonna get me fired, right? He's also not gonna get me a promotion, probably. It's like Drew is probably he might give me a promotion if he can put it together, or we all might get canned, right?
Yeah.
If it goes south, and it just kind of depends on what flavor you're hoping for there. I don't think anyone should hope for like the lowest possible floor here because you don't want to be a bottom 5 team because that also means that a lot of things didn't go well with your rookie class and some of your free agent stuff. So no one should want that. But I thought that game was interesting in that regard. Did you find a tweet?
I did. So basically, his name is Anthony at McCrusty7. I tweeted, Drew looks comfortable as he should, dicing up the twos. And we'll get to Drew in a second here. He said, I don't care what stringer level is out there. We have seen Geno forever. Drew is the guy. If he loses, then we just get a higher draft pick. It's a win-win situation. And I'm like,
see, that's what I'm saying. That's not a win-win.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, I don't know if I want this team to suck because then, as you just pointed out, that means the rookie class didn't fare out. Everything Pete wanted to do clearly didn't work. The John Schneider thing, it might be over for this regime, Pete, Carroll, and Schneider. It might be a wrap, especially if they finish, 5-12. That's fireable right there. That can mean we have a new, or worse. So it's not a win-win, but I do want whoever's going to put the Seahawks in the best position to win each Sunday out there on the field. And Saturday, I would have to lean towards Geno, regardless of that. The first 2 possessions. The third one, he marched down the field. They just couldn't get it in the end zone. But then right after, going into halftime, he settles in, moves the ball. They run the ball well. The offensive line did their part, and then Geno makes the right decision and runs it in. He didn't force anything for the most part. I think his first 7 passes, he was 6 of 7. He was taking what the defense was giving.
That was the other thing too. He could have started 10 for 10. He had
a couple of drops. Yeah, Bo Melton dropped the pass, so he would have been 7 for 7. That's correct. Yes.
And Bo dropped one on third down at the sticks too, so that would have extended the drive.
First down. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tariq Young dropped a ball on like second and long. And then Noah Fant had one. He caught it, but he didn't have his toe drag.
Yeah, that was
like
not
the worst attempt at a toe. Like he didn't even attempt a toe drag. I don't think.
So to be honest, yeah, in all purposes, Geno had a flawless game for that. Guys just dropping passes and not keeping their feet in. He did really well in that regard. The only thing that he struggled in. Go ahead.
What did he start in the Jags game? Like 14 of 14 or something like that?
Yeah, he was on Fuego. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see how he gets there. Like I said, nothing spectacular, nothing too terrible. It's just I'm going to throw the ball to my read. And I can see why a coach like, all right, let's roll with that, And the difference is for me, third down and winning time, which is 2 minutes. Like,
so
can you execute on third down? Can you execute in a 2 minute?
Correct. So it was the fourth possession. They run it with Kenneth Walker III, and then right after that, Fant out of bounds, incomplete pass, and then Bo Melton drops it, and it forces the 4th down, so they have to punt. Bang, bang, just like that. 2 offensive passes, both not complete, and they drive is done, kaput. Those things, obviously, if DK's in the game, probably a completion to Tyler Lockett or one of the 2, but that's not the case, especially for Bo, who is trying to make the team. Those are things you have to convert on, especially as a 7th-round pick. You can't make drops. You can't have drops. That's unacceptable. And it's not like the coverage was outstanding. He was open. Had the first. He got tackled, sure, but those are plays you just have to make. So back to your Geno point, for all intents and purposes, 9 for 9, 10 for 10. He was doing his thing, taking what the defense was giving him, moving the ball outside of the first 2 drives. A slow start, which kind of had me going, oh, this is kind of the same thing we saw with Russ for the last 10 years. It was a little alarming, but again, he settled down and he was able to put points on the board before halftime.
I did I thought Geno probably had either the number 1 or the number 2 best throw of the day. I thought the ball splitting the safeties to Cade Johnson that set up the touchdown was really good. That's when you get that middle of field open coverage with them safeties up there like that. And I think Cade had the nickel on him, following him on like a skinny post maybe from the slot like that. You have to be able to throw that ball. You have to. You got to be able to get it over the linebacker or the nickel in between the safeties right to your guy, and you have to do it in a way that doesn't set up your receiver to get smoked. That's important too, because Cade was also protected when he caught it too. That was probably my favorite throw of the day. Like Geno had some good throws. That's probably his best one. And when you can make that throw over the middle like that consistently and trust your protection, then you can be successful in this offense, especially if you're just handing it off and running it. That run game was good on Saturday.
Yeah, they beat him up.
It was good. Travis had good runs. Ken's runs were a little mixed. There was one driver they just only handed it to Ken and just 3 and out. So I get why they did that. I think the third one was like a 3rd and 1. So you just want to be physical and get over the line, but they just couldn't. But I thought even some of Darwin Thompson's runs, all the running backs did well. I think the running backs as a collective average like 6-something yards a pop. So they were getting it done. I can see why Pete's like, I can just get Geno to do this thing. All I need him to do is just make a few throws here and there. But third down is a different animal. You look at some of them third downs, and then 2 minute. If you can succeed in the red zone, those 3 parts right there: red zone, third down, 2 minute. Can you operate there? Because that's usually when the defense knows you're going to throw. So that means they're coming with these exotic blitzes. Their best pass rushers are on the field. Their cover guys are in man tight against your guys. Can you make the throws? So I think from that perspective, Geno was like a mixed bag there. It was good in the 2 minutes. Some of the third down stuff didn't look great, but then operated in the red zone. So got like a satisfactory grade there.
7 out of 10.
And this is without watching the all 22. I have not seen it. All 22 is hard to come by these days. The NFL is making it very hard for the media to get it, but working on it. But that's just our first, off the cuff reactions. As for Drew, Boye sure looked like Drew was about to just snatch that job, but that his first pass went for 39 yards. So I watched the game.
Bo Milton,
the Bo Milton. I watched the game from home, right? And Chris has referred to me as cheap on the show. That I am. Like I don't even pay for cable anymore because I'm just that cheap. Can I afford cable? 100%.
Do I pay for it?
No. So I'm watching on a stream on my TV. So I'm behind the NFL Jesus updates where we get our stats. So I see every play before it happens. I see it pop on my screen as a line item before I see it on the screen. So I'm like, oh, wow, Drew Lock, 39 yards to Bo Melton? Holy hell. And then I just see that it was a little check.
Dump off.
Yeah. So, but first when I saw it, I was like, oh, Drew pushing that thing down the field? No, he's not. Also, with Drew and Geno, I think for people who haven't come to practices, maybe because you just don't want to or you just don't live in the area, this is what practice has looked like. A lot of just operating the offense, nothing spectacular, no wow throws down the field. There was no deep balls really yesterday, not even a lot of attempts yesterday. It just hasn't been there in practice, and as you can see, it really wasn't there in a live game either. I think maybe some of that is due to Pittsburgh not having Minka, so they didn't play a lot of their single high stuff. That's just a guess on my part. I can ask our Steelers guy, Mark, and confirm that. But yeah, with Drew, I was like, oh boy, he about to take this job from him. He moving the ball down the field. There's a lot of play action with Drew.
Yes.
A little bit more than I charted all the play action too. I'd have to go back and my stuff's not official, but I can go back and see. My guess would be that Drew had more play action. I don't know if that's because they think he's better just throwing it out of that. They had the backups in, so it's easier to protect with play action. Maybe because they had run the ball so well in the first half, they was like, all right, it's established. Now let's do it. There could be a few reasons for that. But I have a lot of, like, when I track it on my notebook, I put PA and then I circle it after each play. That's how I can chart it. I'm looking back this morning. I was like, man, that's a lot of PA in my notes, man. Like a lot of the successful throws that he had, some of his better ones were all out of play action, even the dump off to Bo there. But yeah, I thought Drew did look more comfortable there. I thought his first drive was really, really good. The reason I'm not calling that throw from Geno to K. Johnson my favorite throw undoubtedly is because that throw Drew made to Colby Parkinson that ended up getting deflected by Trey Norwood, who's a good corner, by the way. He's good. He played with Trey Brown, I believe, at Oklahoma. Anyway, that was a good ball. It's the one where Colby has it in the end zone, and then the DB comes and punches it out. That's essentially in a triple coverage. And the ball hits his receiver right in the hands. Just a really nice throw. It's a tough catch for Colby to make, but I mean, you 6'7", trying to be a starting NFL tight end, I'd catch it. You know what I'm saying? If the ball hits your hands, catch it. To me, that's what I would ask of my guys there. I thought that was a good throw, though. But even then, right after that, it was 3rd and 6, and Drew just stood in there in the pocket. They had a little a
mesh concept.
Yep. Yeah. And he hits Tariq Young, moves the sticks. Again, what I just said, red zone, 3rd down, 2 minutes. I think that was in the red zone at that point, and it was 3rd down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. That's the difference maker. Anybody can hand it to Rashad Penny. Chris, man, you could do that. You know what I'm saying? It's turn around, hand it to me. Yeah, sure.
I might fumble the snap, bro. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm not fumbling those snaps. No, I can. If you teach me how to, I've never taken a snap under center, but if you teach me how to do it,
little hands.
I have little hands as well. Yeah, but if you teach me how to do it, I can do it. I take well to instruction, so I could hand the ball to Ken Walker. I can hand the ball to Rashad. I can't make no throws in the NFL, particularly not when the defense knows I'm about to throw it, which is why I think those situations matter a lot. So I like that from Drew. I like the goal line throw to Tariq Young for the touchdown. The thing about that throw that I liked was that if he throws that a second later, that linebacker's there. He had to throw that right when Tariq was coming out of his break. I like the formation and stuff too. It was bunched. make the defense have to think. So I thought Drew's. I was telling you, Chris, I was about to text you and be like, man, where you want me to send that 100? After the first drive, I was like, yo, I thought he came really good.
He did look really good. You hit it all on the head with. I loved his pass to Parkinson, and you talked about as a 6'7" tight end that wants to be. I mean, hell, he's fighting for a spot to even possibly make the team. So those are catches you want to see a guy that's 6'7" make. I know he got hit, but it wasn't. He got hit by a corner, bro. Like, it wasn't, a linebacker. No, being real, he got hit by a guy that probably 190, maybe 200 pounds. You gotta snag it, bring it to the body, and just take the hit and score a touchdown. That's what Will Dissly can do, right? Noah Fant, I think, would make that catch. You look at some of the other better tight ends across the league; they make those plays. And Coby had an opportunity to make it, he just didn't come through with it, and that's something he's probably like, "Damn, I got to make that play," and he knows it. And for that pass, though, I was going to text you like, I know you see Drew, but my thing was I didn't want to jinx it. So I'm glad I didn't text you because we can get to the fumble later, but that's why I didn't message you because I was like, things can change. He looks good right now. And by the way, he looked okay. He can't, again, he started off hot, came in, little dump off, didn't force it, dropped back to pass. The flat's wide open to Boye, makes one man miss. Huge gain, first down. We call that an explosive play. Check. They end up scoring on that first drive. Second drive didn't go his way for the most part.
Can we mention why the second drive didn't go? 3rd and 11, and they ran another screen.
It did. Well, the pass, I understood what Drew was trying to do. Drew wanted to get him moving. Obviously,
he wanted to lead the receiver. Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to get him in stride. Obviously, who was it that caught it?
Tariq Young.
It was Tariq. He just wanted to catch it and then go.
Right.
Clearly a miscommunication between those two. I think Drew was on the right to try to get him moving because if you watch the play, there was a block set up for him. If he catches it in stride, he might be able to get 5-7 yards. If he makes a dude miss, it's a first down. A lot of what-if scenarios here. Tariq didn't do that. And Tariq had a couple of, he had a drop. It just... First game jitters. Okay, I get it. But those are plays you want to hit on because if he converts that, you're thinking, dang, what else can Drew not do wrong? The dude is leading 2 drives. Let's say they get the first down and end up getting 3. Okay, not bad. You put up points. You led this offense. You scored a touchdown the first time. Second time, you lead them to 3 points. Okay, Drew, you got a rhythm with these guys. So it was just a miscommunication between receiver and quarterback, and you have to get those figured out because that's going to come up again. On Thursday, when they play this coming Thursday, there's going to be an opportunity for that play to be called again. So it's very important that they're on the same page. Like, hey, I'm going to throw it for you to catch it in stride. I don't want you having to stand there and wait for the ball because that gives the DB a chance to come in and make a play or anyone on the field. So going back to the ball was something that Devonta Adams is really good at. When he catches those screens, he's always running towards it because he knows the block coming and he can get upfield. And that's where I think quarterback and wide receivers have to communicate. It's really that simple. Just, hey, this is what I plan on doing, making sure you're aware. Tariq caught it, was like, what are you doing? Like, it looked like, I wanted to catch it standing still, and he wanted him to run towards it and get some momentum moving upfield. And that's just something they got to work on. And then after that, he goes down on his, third possession, moves the ball pretty well, and end up getting the 2-point conversion as well. That was also a good sign. They end up scoring a touchdown, 2-point conversion. Okay, the game is tied up. Okay, Drew, I see you, man. Let's go. Lead this offense, even if it is the twos. Doesn't matter who you're dicing up. If you're running the offense the way Shane and Pete want you to run it, and it's converting in points, that's all they can ask for. If they put you out there against the twos, dice them up. Put you out there against the ones. Do your best. And I thought Drew, for the most part, he was doing his thing. And then also having a good run game, that helped too. Pete loves to pound the ball. They were able to do that. And you know what that opened up? A lot of what you talked about, Mike. Every time you looked at your notes, you saw a lot of PA. I feel you on that. I'm looking at my iPad all the times I have PA, a lot of play action passes. But hey, that's because of the offensive line was controlling the defensive line, and they were able to move the ball, quick dump offs. And again, Drew wasn't forcing anything, even though he did get into triple coverage. But dude, 6'7". I'm going to throw it up to him every time. Kind of like what you say during camp. Look, if I have DK one-on-one, or if I have DK on the outside, I am throwing to him every time. That's what Drew thought when he saw Coby. He was like, bro, he's 6'7". I'm going to put it up there, and I think he's going to come down with it. So overall, I liked how Drew handled the game. I just didn't like the way it ended. But we can get into that fumble, I guess, now, right?
Well, I want to go back to that screen pass.
Oh,
They
yeah,
need to
okay.
stop running screens.
Well, that's an
Stop.
easy one. But the thing is, though, Mike, you got to run it. You got to keep the defense on, especially if a dude's playing 8 yards off you.
No, you that's the thing about you don't have to run screens. You don't
You're
have to
right.
run
I guess
anything.
you don't.
That's the thing. You don't have to run anything in Nigeria.
Here's what they thought. You know what? We got Tariq Young going up against, I don't know who the corner was. Chances are he can make a miss. Maybe we can get 7-8 yards. And maybe we go for it. Something you love to do, Mike. We don't punt on 4th down. We go for it. That's maybe what they were thinking. Unfortunately, it didn't go off that way. And to your point, yes, they can definitely scrap screens from the book. I get it. But if you think you got a guy one-on-one that you can just toast, I get it. But that's where they got to be on the same page. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying a little pushback on you. That's all.
I just don't think.
No.
they want to. It's man, I'm really trying not to.
That's okay. I get it. I get it.
No, because I came real close this morning when I rewatched the game, doing a little cut up on my phone of all the screens they ran yesterday. That just did not. I'm talking losing yards. They lost a yard on that screen to Tariq.
Yeah,
it's one
thing.
It doesn't. The first, they lost a yard. And here's the other thing about screens, right? Screens are not just about the guy you get the ball to. They're about the guys blocking for him. So, for example, this wasn't a screen. It was like a fly sweep to Tariq. I think it's the first possession, maybe the second possession. It's got Geno. Tariq runs a fly sweep out towards the Seahawks sideline and just gets blown up.
First possession. Yeah,
it gets blown up by Killer Witherspoon, actually. And why does it get blown up? Not because Tariq's not like a good runner of the ball.
No blocking.
Because number 82, I think it was, just got set up poorly, didn't even touch a Kilo, boom, gives it up. Screens are not just about who you get the ball to. I can see why in your mind, in the little planning meeting, you're like, hey, Penny Hart's really fast. We should try to get him the ball in space. Cool, coach. Understand that. And you get on the practice field, and you're like, wow, well, the guys around Penny can't block. So we should just scrap that. Nope. Let's run it anyway, man. And I just think that just kills. It just kills. They killed a couple drives with that. They killed Drew's second drive with the screen. Let me see. Go back through my notes. I don't have a fancy iPad like you. I just do my stuff on pen and paper. I'm pretty sure they killed one of Geno's drives with a screen on like second down as well. With it just like
you guys can't even see it. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
They killed one with Penny Hart on a screen, and I just don't.
I feel you, Mike. I feel you. One thing I like to do:
tight end screens, receiver screens, running back screens. None of the screens, whether it's Russ, whether it's Geno, whether it's Shane calling the plays, or Darrell Bevel, or who's in between them, Shoddy. Doesn't matter who's calling the plays, who's throwing the ball. It's all bad, and I just think they should stop doing it. Stop doing it. Yeah, figure out something else. You know what they should? You know what's probably more effective is, instead of trying to throw that screen there, you just throw it out to DK and then just have him throw it like a double pass or something like that. Anything other than a screen. The only time I want to see those little quick things, and we talked about this play before, it was week 4 against the Dolphins in 2020. I'm pretty sure they had a run play called, but Russ looked over.
Russ checks out.
Saw DK one-on-one with it wasn't Xavier Howard. Was it Xavier Howard?
Okay.
Can't remember.
I think it was.
Either
bro.
way, it doesn't really matter for the purpose of this discussion. Russ sees it. Oh, is that 14 over there by himself? Hold on. Hike, threw it right over there to him. DK ends up making a miss, gets up 29 yards, something like that, goes down to the 1. I think Chris Carson punches it in. Like that. Those are the quick hitters I want to see. These screens are just not working. They're just not, and they haven't worked for years. Someone tweeted me, it was like, Mike, we haven't run a screen since the Mike Holmgren era. I was like, yeah, probably not. And it just is not. It's not working. That's not to say that literally all of them have failed. Like when Penny blew his ACL in 2019, that was actually on a successful screen pass. But for the most part, every time I see a screen, I'm just like, oh boy, I'd rather see like a slant or something like that, like something else that's a quick hitter. Because I get the idea, take the pressure off your O-line and your quarterback. I understand. It's just not working. So I forgot even where we were at in the whole thing of the show.
It's all good.
I just could not forget about that screen pass because it was just they're just so bad with the screen passes, man. They should just throw it out I'll tell Shane myself next time I see him. I'm like, hey, big dog,
what's up with these screens?
No, I know you love the screen pass. they actually spend a decent amount of practice installing that stuff. I can see it every day. And in practice, I just be like, I hope they don't run none of this. And what do? They ran it. And I was like, see, they run it 11-on-0 in practice sometimes. And I could still tell that, like, no, man, the timing on this is not working because it's a timing thing. I'm spending too much time on screens now. But you guys get the point. Everyone listening here who watches Seahawks football knows screens don't work. Stop. All of them, unless it's to DK. But even then, Russ threw a pick 6 on the screen to DK in a playoff game. So it's like, that should have been the killer for screens right there. If we can't even run a screen where the other team doesn't score, then we're having an issue. So, yeah, kill all screens. Oh, we were talking about Drew. All right.
Well, we're going to wrap it up on his late game 2-minute drill. So after, we'll get to Boye because the boy, he got some speed. We're talking about the rookies coming up, but the Seahawks had an opportunity to basically win the game. And I think had you done that, yeah, Mike, you could have texted like, yo, bro, you want this 50? I'll pay you. I'll do a buyout with you, bro, at this point. That would have been probably the case because he led a game-winning drive, but that didn't happen. The first play, they just got a turnover on downs, huge sack by Boye Mafe. Drew comes to the line of scrimmage. He doesn't check. He just snaps the ball. I saw a lot of comments like, oh, that's the offensive line. That's Darwin Thompson, the backup running back's fault. Well, you have a quarterback. He's supposed to come out there and look at everything, see what's going on, see if there's someone out of position, see if someone doesn't look right. He didn't do that. He just goes up and snaps it, and boom. The edge rusher comes off. They send a blitzer. He comes off, makes a great play, sack, fumble, ball game. Drew has to granted, he did realize that and say, yeah, that's on me, but it is on him. It's no one else. When you get to the line of scrimmage as a quarterback, you need to look at everything. It doesn't matter. You have to see it, and he did not see it. It's like when you go to a four-way stop. When you're driving your car, you go to a four-way stop. You don't just look right. You look left and right, and then you go. He didn't do that. He got a four-way stop and just was like, yeah, right side, we good. Okay, hike, left side, car coming. Didn't see it. Bam. That's going to get him to lose this job. The fact that Geno executed no turnovers, he has that one leg up. So now I'm nervous. I got $100 in the line. I'm trying to win. So that wasn't the best Geno moment. The good news is you got a chance on Thursday where you're probably going to be – what's up?
You said Drew, right? Or Geno?
Yeah. No, I said Drew. You have a chance on Thursday, Drew, to make up for that. They're probably going to be in the same scenario where it's 2 minutes left, maybe a little bit less. You got a chance to go down and score points. Execute it. Check both sides. Make sure everything looks good. And if something doesn't look right, blow a timeout. I know people are going to get upset about it, but it's the preseason. You want to get all of this out the way now. You want to make sure you're making your reads, and he just didn't make the right read. And it's unfortunate because when you watch that play, had he told the running back just to chip, he could have chipped. He could have done anything to prevent that sack. But no, clean run right into to Drew, causing a fumble, and that's your ball game. It's really that simple.
Yeah, I actually know what the play call is called, or at least the concept they're running there. I won't say it on the air just because that's not fair. You start doing that, and then people stop telling you stuff. But so I'm very confident when I tweet or write that was on. I said that, and actually before Drew or Pete even spoke last night, I was like, oh, I know what happened here. Text a few people, hit me back. It's like, oh yeah, okay, so I am right. All right, boom. Let me put that out there. And Russ had a lot of those too, which is why I knew which people to ask right away. Russ had a lot of those where it's like it looks like someone just comes free and the O-line stinks, right? But really, there's a hot read, there's a check, whatever. I think like a good example of how to beat one of them. The Steelers actually had a good one. I want to say it was Trubisky to whoever number 89 is on the Steelers. One of their third downs on like the first drive. He like beats Justin Coleman over the middle. Then Justin falls, and then dude runs for some more yards. I think the Seahawks sent the blitz there, and then the quarterback, I can't remember if it's Trubisky or Rudolph. Either way, one of them sees it, boom, hit. Like that's the type of stuff you have to do as a quarterback. It ain't just the O-line's fault or the running back's fault. And sometimes those are easy to see the more and more, about football. Sometimes it's about sliding protections or whatever. But in that particular one, it was pretty obvious. Like, oh, the guy came from the side of the releasing running back. You should throw it over there. Yeah, those late game situations are everything when you're talking about a quarterback battle. Like, you can't be the reason your team loses the game. That's my main thing. Not every quarterback is going to be the reason their team wins, right? Like, Jimmy Garoppolo could end up here in Seattle. I don't think he will, but he could, right? Jimmy was not the reason that the Niners won however many games the Niners won when he was a starting quarterback. A lot of those times, he just wasn't the reason they lost. And then some of those times, he was the reason they lost, like in the Super Bowl or some other games. And so I just think you can't be that. And in that situation, Drew didn't deliver. Just like we were talking about Geno last year, when he didn't deliver against the Steelers, didn't deliver against the Saints, didn't get it done against the Rams either, though kind of great on the curve there when you just get thrown in against the best team in the league, or at least one of them at the time. But in general, that is where I think, of all things we talked about with the quarterbacks, everything's kind of even now still. I think that showed the ebbs and flows of the competition. Geno was on a downslide, then he picked it back up. And then Drew picked it up and then came right back to where Drew, kind of is. Now, I think that the quarterback division of reps will be very similar during the week. I think Geno starts against the Bears. And I think it's maybe they give Drew some reps. I don't know. It depends on if DK and Tyler play too. But I think it's back to even. I think neither me nor Chris need to text each other anticipating losing $100. I just think that at this point it's right back to where it was, in part because of all the things we talked about in the past. Command of the offense, protecting the football, third down situations, 2-minute drills, red zone. It all balanced out at the end of the day. They were both all right they're both all right in third down. Not great, but okay. Decent in the red zone, both of them. And then one guy was better in 2-minute. The other guy wasn't.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. You have to execute, go down and win the game, take the job.
Exactly. That was Drew's chance to take the job right there. If he'd have led a game-winning drive and threw a touchdown on it, it doesn't really matter how they score, but if he threw a touchdown on it as well, we'd have opened the show with Drew. Totally different conversation. Now, it's right back to where we started, back to them being pretty much even heading into the second preseason game.
Exactly. But let's end this thing on a fun note, and welcome to the rookies to the NFL. We saw a lot of Coby Bryant, Tariq Woolen, Kenneth Walker III, Abraham Lucas, if you're watching the O-line. Who else am I missing? Boye Mafe, Charles Cross. Yep. So where do you want to start with these rookies, man? We got a lot of them.
Let's start with the corners because Pete Carroll gave probably one of the most honest assessments of the night when he got asked about the corners. He was like, man, I thought they got knocked around, man. And
did you see the video clip of Coby getting shoved?
Yeah, man, by George Pickens.
Yeah,
somebody sent that to me this morning. Well, actually, multiple people sent it to me just because it's funny, not knowing that it's Coby. Somebody sent it to me because it was Coby and was like, yo, your mans need to stop acting scared. This is somebody who knows like DB play. It was like, the reason that George felt comfortable shoving him like that because he could see it in his eyes. Like he could just see he wasn't with the smoke, and that's why he also was able to push him on the goal ball too. So he was like, that's not an accident that he did that. Now, part of that is George just pushes everybody. One of the homies sent me a little highlight reel from George in college. George grabbed a dude by his face mask and threw him into a wall. So I think it was a kid at Georgia Tech. So George is just nuts, which I love. But I think that they sent it to me this morning as a point like, yo, he saw something in your boy, my boy being Coby. He said he saw something in your boy. That's why he felt he could do that to him. And Pete Carroll kind of noticed that too, where I think Pete is probably most upset with Coby and Tariq is that they couldn't tackle yesterday.
Man.
That was a big – Tariq blew one on a big run, I want to say. Yeah, the big
play of the game for the Steelers, that is.
Yeah.
It was the first possession.
Yeah, on the outside, and then Tariq blew the coverage. That happens. But then, like, Coby missed a tackle on a check down to a running back. I think something else happened with Tariq besides the blown. It was just not a good show. Although Tariq did have a good third down stop. Coby had a good third down stop on a tight end, I want to say. Crunched him pretty good. But
stopped him
That was
short.
probably the most disappointing thing. It's like, dang, man, this coverage stuff is cute, but I need y'all to tackle. Like, I need y'all to be able to hit. Like, in terms of missed tackles, boy, the Seahawks look rough yesterday. But yeah, the interesting thing about Tariq and Coby yesterday wasn't just that they gave up, big plays. It was plays that they were making in practice. Coaches want to see you take what you do in practice and then they'll walk through and put it in the game. And they just specifically did not do that. And that was where I think the coaches and even myself, I was like, man, that's pretty disappointing that you didn't do the stuff that we've been practicing all week in the game that we've been preparing for.
To be fair, I think has a lot to do with familiarity. You're out there against the guys that you have grown to know over these past 5 months. So you kind of know the characteristics, right? You're going up against a team that you've never seen, probably never played against some of these guys, some of these wide receivers, and it's a live situation now. There's points on the board. In practice, sure, there's points on the board, but now it counts for something. You're going up against guys, again, you haven't seen. And to your point, maybe they just the mental aspect of things escaped them. The simple things of Coby running right with George Pickens and not turning his head. Sure, he got hands on him, but if he turns his head, he can see the ball and he's able to make a play or maybe even pick it off. That's how tight the coverage was. He just didn't make the simple turn of the head and try to make a play on the ball. And those are the things that your coaches are looking at, but he'll have a chance again on Thursday against the Bears to make that play, to be able to run stride for stride with the guy and turn your head and get a hand on the ball, make an interception. Tackling could be better. Bunch of missed tackles from Nick Ballore getting in the hole and letting the guy bounce out. Yeah.
Nick had a bad day.
Yeah. I know we're talking about rookies, but you mentioned tackling. I think there was 2 times where Nick was there and just didn't come up with the play. But back to the rookies. Tariq, flashes of good and then not so good. The flashes of not so good was he just didn't know the play call. He thought it would not know. He ran the wrong play.
Yeah, I think he was in man.
He was in man and was cover 3. He was supposed to be deep zone, or it might have been cover 2. I have to go watch the film and see what exactly it looked like. But he was not where he's supposed to be, and they had a crossing pattern, and wide open is a touchdown there. That's something that can be fixed just with communication and listening. So I'm not too worried about that, but it's the fact that the poor tackling, that can't happen. If you want to be a starter in this league, you got to be able to tackle. You're kind of the last line of defense when it comes to a running back bouncing outside or even a receiver making a catch. Like, it's one-on-one. You have to be able to at least wrap them up, and if you can't bring them down, your teammates will help clean it up. But that wasn't the case with the cornerbacks on Saturday. The young guys just couldn't tackle, didn't make any plays. Although Coby, you mentioned he did make one against a tight end there, stopping him short of the sticks. But I think they'll be better on Thursday. I think just the first game out there, a lot of eyes on them. Of course, these teams are going to attack you. You're the new guy on the block. They got receivers over there that they want to throw to. George Pickens, 2nd-round pick. I get it. We've seen it.
No, but he's him. I like that dude.
Yeah, that's what the Steelers said. They're like, he's him. He's definitely talented. But I think that was a good first step for them, especially for Coby, who can be a starter, but he's going to have to seriously get some things fixed out, tackling and then just being physical, just not backing down. Like, I know he got shoved, and I think he didn't expect that. I thought he maybe thought dude was going to run a route, and he
Which
just
one? The one where he just got shoved to the ground?
Yeah, I think he was expecting dude to come off and run a route, because when you're thinking someone's running a route, you're not going to put your hands on him unless you're trying to press him, and he's a little bit taller, so I understood why he got shoved. It wasn't like he was soft. He just thought, oh, dude's about to run a route, I'm ready for it, and that's not what happened. Dude was blocking, and that's the tough. That's when you look at DK, you're like, damn, I don't know if he's running a route or he's about to block me. Mind you, he's 6'4", 220. So I can only imagine what Coby was thinking when he's looking at George Pickens, who 6'2", 190, 200 pounds maybe, and he's, is he going to run a route? Is he running a route? Is he coming to block me? Those are things that are going through his head, and he just got caught slipping. And I think he'll bounce back from that. But I want to see how they respond Thursday against the Bears. I think that will be the biggest stepping stone, is how do they respond after a not great performance, a not bad performance? How do they perform on Thursday? And then if you want to look at the offensive line.
Hold on, I got one more thing on Coby.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Well, actually, they have George Pickens at 6'3", 200 on the side.
Okay.
I don't know how accurate that is. But what Coby should do, and he might get thrown out the game for this, but I think it'll help him in the long run. Do you remember that play? It was against the Packers. It was a long time ago. It's Brandon Browner. He body slammed somebody. It might have been like Greg Jennings or like Donald Driver
Yeah,
or something.
it was one of those two for sure.
He just picks him up, and he doesn't even have the ball. He just runs a route, doesn't get the ball, and then Brandon Browner just picks him up and just slams us. Like that is what Coby should do. That probably like the first or second play. Like he should.
It
If
was
it's a
Greg
long
Jennings.
play, is Greg Jennings? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He should just Coby should just find a receiver, pick him up, and slam his ass to the ground. Who cares if you get a penalty for it? Who cares if you even get kicked out the game? You know why? Because then you get your credibility back. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like how they tell you go and you get in jail and you walk in there, first thing you do, punch your cellmate, let them know you ain't no punk. Same thing. Not to say Coby punk or nothing. I'm just saying, like, when you have
Send
a
a
play like
message.
that, yeah, just send a message. When you have a play like that happens against George, not only does he beat you on the one-on-one with the push-off, he pushes you to the ground. That goes viral. He already didn't have like a great game. It just helps you get back, you know what I'm saying? And you can show that, like, hey, man, no. Ain't nothing sweet over here.
Hmm.
I think that would be, again, he's probably going to get kicked out the game for that. But you know what? It's worth it. Because you know what no other receiver is going to try to do after that is what George Pickens did. Ain't nobody going to try you like that again if you out here body slamming folks. It's kind of what it is.
I don't know what to say to that. I'm just going to move on to the offensive line because one thing we found out is homies that were in a passing system and the question was, could they run block? I think they did just fine. I think the first run play, Abe just destroys him, man. Straight up. Like 5 yards down the field, just rolls him up. Charles Cross handled his own. I liked what I saw from them. I mean, I have to watch more, obviously, but just off the game that I watched and the running lanes that these guys were giving the running backs, I thought they did a really solid job. And that is good news. Now I get it. They're going up against twos, but you want to dominate against the twos. If you're going up against other twos, you want to show them you are better. And that's only going to improve your game. And then when you go up against the best of the best, you had reps against okay to good offensive linemen, or excuse me, defensive linemen that maybe you take the next step. And those are the reps that they need to take. And they've gotten them in and they looked good. I enjoyed what I saw. And again, I think they had like 160 rushing yards between DJ Dallas, Darwin Thompson, and who am I missing? Travis Homer. So for the most part, I liked what I saw from the offensive line. Mike, what did you think of those two young studs? And even I guess you could throw Jake Curran in there. He played pretty well as well. I mean, he played right tackle, right guard. He was doing a lot.
Yeah, I think Drew Lock had an interesting assessment after the game where he was like, if you didn't see the little underline on the sign on the card that says they're rookies, you would think they've been out here for a little bit. And that's kind of how I view things too. I want to look at the guys and be like, can I tell that you're a rookie? With like Coby and Tariq, like, oh yeah, those guys are probably rookies. Like I could see that in their games, just in some of the plays they either made or didn't make, which is fine because they are rookies.
Yeah.
Charles, specifically watching Charles, I was like, man, okay, this kid is solid. Like you look at some of those third downs, like Drew's third down, that throw to Tariq Young, Geno's third down where he was sacked, Geno's third down where he scrambled. It's just a lot of, his left side is cool. Like it's one-on-one. Charles wasn't going against TJ Watt or nothing like that. But it doesn't matter. You can only go against who they line up with you, So I think he was going against, who's his kid's name? Looks like it's some dude named Derek. Looks like some other cats that really ain't no like studs like that, at least to my knowledge. I don't know the Steelers roster all that well. But just watching those guys, like if I watch 67, which is Charles Cross, I'm like, is he a rookie? Oh, probably not. I thought that was good. Abe too. Yeah, Abe had a couple he pancaked the dude, like you mentioned. He had another one where he just shoves a dude. And then there's one with Charles Cross. I want to say it's where Geno scrambles for 7 yards in a 2-minute drill. Where if you look, when Geno works his way back towards Charles' side to go get across the sticks, Charles has his dude just on the ground pinned. And I'm just like, yeah, that's Charles is here. Charles is ready. We need to see that again against some more legit competition. But yeah, week 1, I was like, oh man, 67 doesn't look like a rookie. Like if you just view guys by their numbers, I thought that was really good. Everyone, like, conversely, if you'd ask me like, oh, what year is 81? Oh, he's probably a rookie. Or like, oh, what year is 83? Oh, I'm probably a rookie. That asked me what year, like I thought DJ Dallas was. Like, oh man, that dude's probably like 5-year vet. DJ Dallas was running really well. Got behind his pads and boom, boom, boom. Like if you just look at guys' numbers and just assess, well, that's something I like to do, particularly with the rookies. I thought Charles and Abe both passed that test. For me, they were really physical. They just didn't look like they didn't belong. Like remember last year, Stone's Forsyth's like first start against the Raiders was not great. Like he just had moments. You're like, oh, okay, he's a rookie, late round pick. Charles looked like, no.
He does this.
Yeah, he done. He just like spin moves. They tried some games and twists at him. He picked all that up. Good communication with his left guard. He was good, good in the play action game, good in the run game. He looks really athletic too for a big dude. Like everything that John Snyder was saying on draft day, I was like, oh, you're right, John. You got one. You got you one right there, man. And then between just the front line for the rookies was good. I thought Boye Mafe looked like an athletic freak.
Rookie of the game right there.
He tried not to put too much into some of the athletic testing that these guys do at the combine and their pro days and stuff. Because like, no, you got to actually play football. But boy, when I seen Boye Mafe chase down Kenny Pickett for that sack, I was like, no. That is why you have them run 40s.
Yeah.
He hawked that, man. That was legit speed and strength. Like that is why you test those type of things and you take guys who do test well. That's a situation where a dude testing well makes the play. Because Boye came flying off the edge, had to change direction because it was a boot, and Kenny Pickett ain't Lamar Jackson or nothing, but damn, he was moving. Like that was probably I wrote that too. So I was like, man, his athleticism just jumped off the screen. Even chasing down remember the big punt return they gave up, and Boye kind of saves a touchdown on that earlier in the game. Like Boye hawking that down too. No, Boye can run and he can hit. Like I think as a pass rusher. He probably could have been a little better in the game. I know he had the strip sack too, which is a really good rep. I think it was against their left tackle. I don't know how good that tackle is, but I thought just in the flash plays, sometimes with those rookies, you just want to see him flash. That was the only thing with like some of the Kenneth Walker runs. I really wanted to see him pop something, because it was clearly there. Travis popped stuff, DJ popped stuff. Like I wanted to see Kenneth pop stuff, but in terms of the guys who could pop stuff, I thought. Of all the rookie plays, Charles on the third down, Bo Melton's catch and run was really good, because he's like a yak guy. So I really wanted to see that. His drops his drop that he had was bad. Same thing with Tariq, but Bo's catch and run, Mafe's couple big plays, and then Charles on third down. I was like, yeah, that's what I wanted to see from some of those rookies. Like specifically, do what your scouting report says you can do. Boye said he can be a freak athlete. Boom. Charles said he's got good feet and he's athletic and can pass protect. Boom. Bo Melton says, oh, you can get a lot of yards after catch. Let's see. Boom. Like I like that. The next step is then with Kenneth, I just want to see a big run. I just want to see him take the guy missing the top one. And then with the rookies corners, I just wanted to see them make plays on the ball. They just didn't do that. I wish they got more opportunities. They had to move Coby inside to nickel halfway through the game.
I noticed that.
I wish they didn't have to do that, man, because I wanted to see Coby go up against more of Pickens and then the other guy they had out there, whoever number 13 was. I think it's the kid from TCU. No, Miles Boykin from Notre Dame. Because Miles got a lot of work against Michael Jackson. Yeah, he was going against Michael Jackson. No, nothing against Michael Jackson. I just wanted to see more of Coby in those matches. I think Coby is more likely to be in those positions in the regular season than Michael Jackson. That's all.
Yeah.
But which version of the broadcast did you have? Did you have the Steelers one or did you have the Brook one?
I believe I had the Seahawks one because I didn't see Mike Tomlin but one time, and that was at the end of the game.
So you had the Michael Bennett, Mike Robinson.
Yeah.
That feed, there's no more players I want to talk about. That
same here. We're good.
Oh, my God. Michael Bennett had me damn near in tears covering the game. Did you see the clip where he asked Tyler Lockett why he ain't got no hair?
Michael Bennett's just a good friend, and I think he was just having fun, and that's what you're supposed to do. Don't make it awkward. These players. Have fun with them. Ask him questions that you've been dying to ask him. Like he asked Pete, like, why you trade me? And was dead ass. And then
oh, my God. Oh my god!
And you could tell Pete was like, "Oh, you're serious." He's like, "Okay, let's just get football stuff in here." But
yeah. He
that's
skates
who
past
Michael
it.
Bennett is.
Oh my god, man! Because it. So I had never seen Michael Bennett do a sideline interview, obviously, and so like the setup was all just normal. Kurt Menefee was like, "Yeah, our Michael Bennett is down on the sideline with Pete Carroll," and then it was like, "All right, Pete. The question that everybody wants to know: why'd you trade me?"
Pete's like, "Oh, what?"
Oh, oh my God. Oh, that was so you could tell Mike has been waiting to ask Pete that on camera for about 5 years or whatever it's been
Yeah,
since he got traded, man. Oh my God.
but
That
that
was
was
so
fun. That was a good broadcast. I enjoyed it.
oh yeah,
I
the
like Michael
podcast was great.
Robinson up there doing play-by-play. It's funny. I actually watched some. This is a little off tangent, but I actually watched the U.S. versus I want to say Italy and flag football, U.S. or national championships. Michael Bennett was on the call for that too. So I got not Michael
Oh,
Bennett,
really?
Michael Robinson. He was on the
Oh
play-by-play
wow.
with damn, I forget who else was calling it, but it was good. It was him and Maurice Jones-Drew and another guy, and they were calling the championship game between the U.S. and I think it was Italy, which is a pretty competitive game for flag football, but neither here nor there. Just hearing Michael Robinson doing that, it was good. Former Seahawk, getting his feet wet and play-by-play, that was cool. I thought he did a great job. Knows what he's talking about, knows the game. So I enjoyed it. It just felt good watching it and listening and knowing they know what they're talking about. And I'm seeing the same thing. It just, because sometimes the broadcasters are getting it wrong. I'm like, what are they talking about? But hearing someone that's played the game, knows it, understands it, knows how Pete runs the offense and someone of the defense knows the defense. It was good seeing that. And then again, Michael Bennett stud on there, asking the funny question, just having fun, not taking it too serious. Because guess what, guys? It's football. Have a little fun, why don't you?
The first thing Michael Bennett said when they put him in the booth, he was like, "Oh man, that's a lot safer up here. It don't hurt."
Man,
Like, yeah,
he is
I wanted
100%
I
right.
wanted to tweet Mike and be like, Mike, they make some good money up there now too. Like not only are you not smashing heads with somebody, you're making as much bread as the dudes down there smashing heads with people. And I think this is just my not a bias, but I do think that we need more defensive players in these booths. I feel like we get a lot of coaches. It's
Quarterbacks.
like white broadcaster, coach, or quarterback. It's like that's fine, but I feel like we just need more. Like I like DBs in the booth.
To lead.
Mike,
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm curious to hear Sherman in the booth. I think Greg Olson's fine too, offering a tight end perspective. So we don't get a lot of tight ends in the booth either. I just want to see more positions other than like former quarterbacks. I just think a lot of these other positions have
Value.
a lot to offer, especially the ones in the trenches, because that's what we can see. Like, yes, we can see the quarterback too, but we can also see like 10 dudes in the line smashing heads into each other. Like, give us some insight. Now, Mike wasn't giving a ton of insight. Like, for example, Mike Robinson was like, yeah, there's a 3 technique, 4 technique, 4-eye, whatever. And Mike Robinson was like, yeah, Mike, which one did you prefer or something like that? So Mike Bennett was like, well, I was good at all of them. So it really didn't matter.
Put me anywhere.
Yeah, he was
I
like,
get
I
it
can do
done.
everything. So it's not like Michael Bennett was offering a ton of insight. He was just really, really funny, man. He threw out every Michael Jackson song reference he had.
He ran out, so they said, go to the field.
As soon as Travis Homer got the ball, he's got Homer and the Odyssey references. I'm like, dog, this guy, Michael Bennett, is hilarious, man. When Josh Jones didn't catch that interception, Michael
That was
Bennett
mad.
was like, yeah, man, that's like getting up and hollering that you got bingo and you don't got it. What?
Yeah, Michael Bennett is hilarious, man. It was fun. That was a fun broadcast for a
Oh,
preseason
yeah.
game. I enjoyed it. Hopefully, he can get some regular season games because that I think would be fun as well, especially on the broadcast. Because you'll be at the game, so I'll get to see him have fun out there, and that's what it's about, man.
I hate covering games from home, but that was the only real benefit, other than getting my story done a lot faster, was hearing the broadcast. Man, Michael Bennett had me dying, dog. He said, "Tyler, the next question. I ain't got no hair." What?
You could tell Ty was cut off guard, like, you're asking me this. Okay, well, yeah, I had to let it go.
I mean, I don't know Tyler super well, but I do think he gets a little like the hair jokes when they're off guard like that is a little messed up. They've been making fun of his hair for a little bit now. I remember Jermaine Ifedi told him to shave it all off like 3 years ago during a press conference too. Like, guys are pretty mean with that one, but oh my god, yeah, man, more Mike B content. I can't wait. I can't wait. I might try to have I don't think he's calling the Bears game, which is cool because I'll be at the game. He's calling the Cowboys game. No, yeah, I can't wait, man. And he's from Texas too. Yeah, I can't wait. That was I just get that in there. It didn't make it into my story because I have enough space. But man, Michael Bennett was just outstanding. Just had me laughing the whole time, man. It just damn the football. I just had a good time watching preseason on a Saturday night because Michael Bennett was in my ear. That was fun.
Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for rocking with us on our first recap of preseason 1. We'll have more for you. We'll wrap that up on probably drop it on Friday after the Seahawks play the Bears. So we'll figure it out. You'll have a new podcast next week for sure. We'll figure it out though.
Yeah,
Mike,
we'll come back after the Bears game. Either we can do it Thursday night. We can do it Friday morning. Probably Thursday night if you got to work Friday. We'll figure that out. Figure out the schedule. Either way, we appreciate you guys. Again, let us know if you guys would be interested in the live joint. That's on the table. We'll give you more details soon, but that's something we're exploring, man. Live podcast in Seattle. That will be very live Seahawks man to man. That would be very dope. If you guys will want to come out, man, we can't just sit there and talk to an empty room. We do that all the time anyway. So we need y'all, man. So let us know, comments or whatever. Again, subscribe to YouTube, Seahawks Man to Man on YouTube. Hit the button. Even if you listen on audio, Spotify, The Athletic, whatever, just go subscribe and then come back. That's all. We don't even really need you listening on there. Just subscribe, man. We appreciate that. The numbers do good things for us. So appreciate y'all, man. You got anything else, Chris?
No, I appreciate the love and support, you guys. Thanks again. We will see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll talk to you later.